That's 2024 knocking, and there's a lot of new riding gear on the market. I've upgraded some, and most of all, I added something I never thought I would do. Hello riders, and welcome to the Nomad Sweden walk-in closet. And if you're not out on studded tires riding, you're like me at home waiting for the season to begin. But be careful, the forest gravel roads still have ice under the surface for quite a while. And a few years ago I fell on icy gravel ruts and injured my shoulder. But the bike's okay. So in this video I'll share with you my riding gear for 24 that will take me from winter to summer with very small adjustments. But before we start, let's get naked. Sorry for that, I just get that Spider-Man feeling when I get into this dress. So, the base layer, if it's just somewhat chilly, a Merino base layer. This one is from Revolution Race, and with the little added bonus of this little hood. It's good when you're sleeping out cold in a tent or something, and under the helmet. And it's so small, so it acts like a small buff when you're sort of not having it on the head. So yeah, I tend to buy a lot from Revolution Race because of the price range, and yeah, I like the gear. And for socks I go by season, but usually some merino wool in there also because it keeps smell away. I got into contact with a bike riding sock manufacturer in Slovakia, and he made these cool Nomad socks as prototypes. So he's sending me socks and we try them, change something, and yeah, a fun little project. Let's see if we ever sell some, but yeah. So far we're pretty much the same, everyone, but then we get to the point where the river divides to those who like layering and those who want all-in-one kits, the full gear. So I would call myself a layering guy. The main difference is that I wear the protection on myself on top of this, and the rest I just add whatever I want. So next step is knee pads. I have these 5-year-old ones, a Sherby something. I use them when I go on more active things like roadbook rallies and stuff, and yeah, when the going gets tough. But usually on tours, I have these soft pads instead. These are Leatt 3DF 6.0 something. So let's add some pants before I get banned. So in the warm season, I usually have some really ventilated stuff, like when we went to Turkey, Tanzania and so on. I have these Mosko Surveyor pant. They are in the boot and really ventilated. But those are reserved for the really hot conditions and perhaps not the long trips if you expect and stuff like that. Then we have also from Mosko, the Woodsman pants. Really like these because I can sort of blend in at any lumberjack after work, and they are quite water resistant, at least on these extra reinforced panels and in the butt. So yeah, for summertime, or at least when it's going to be mostly dry. But I never had a waterproof pant because going down south, it's really hot, the occasional shower. I don't care about getting a little wet. You stand up on the bike and they dry up pretty quickly. But 2/3 of the year in Sweden is pretty chilly and wet. So for the first exciting gear that I have is Adventure Spec. You know, I will show it. I've been using Adventure Spec since I started riding, and now we have finally the waterproof Singletrack pants. So this is what I'm going to use for my riding until sort of summer comes, because I can ride winter and spring and autumn and stay dry in these. My tent canvas is 4,000 millimeters water pillar, that's the measurement, and these are 28,000, so it should at least keep the water out. So, and what I didn't think I would appreciate so much, but I do, are the braces. Optional braces, they send them with them that you can have on or not, but I really like it because yeah, it just keeps them up yeah, when you move and things like that. I really look forward to riding in these and try them out. So let's add some boots. So these are my Alpinestars Tech 7. Been using them quite a while now. I like that you can open the pants in pirate mode and step into the Tech 7s. Tech 7s are great because they are very comfortable. These are the standard ones that are not water protected whatsoever, and I would like to get the Dry Star version, which are water protected, because they get wet too if you go into a water crossing or something. But you get wet feet just by crossing puddles in these guys. So not optimal. So Velcro and a buckle. And now what I've been using for 5 years, the Knox Urbane Pro armor jacket. So this is the least that I wear wherever and whenever I ride. I have this is all mesh and it just blows air through it. And I just have a t-shirt, otherwise the nipples are showing. So on top of this, I have my little travel buddy, the Singletrack jacket. You've seen this since the channel started. It's been used a lot. And I got a new one. So for this year, I get the same jacket, the Singletrack jacket from Adventure Spec. To be honest, it has not been fully waterproof. I cannot ride in the jacket that I've ridden for many years through days and days of rain without getting wet. I'm not sure any garment does that, but the seams has been passing some moisture and wet through. But for this year, they have sort of changed the taping machine, so I hope there will be some change in that. But I do like this jacket very much because it's comfortable, it has the hood, it protects me from rain. I'm not the type that rides full days through rain. I haven't been on a trip where that was needed, but it's waterproof enough, as you've seen in my videos. And I can overlook being a little bit damp if I ride through a lot of rain, because it's so versatile and it packs so small. So I always have it with me. So this little packet, 700 grams, fits anywhere in my backpack or luggage. I can bring it and not use it, and I don't regret it. So this is pretty much all the gear that I use, but depending on temperature, I'm starting riding as soon as I can when the asphalt's free of snow and ice. This will be cold, of course, because this is thin. So then I add layers in between the armor jacket and the Singletrack jacket. And this I've been using for years also. This is the Baltic hybrid jacket. I live in this thing. I have it to work, at home, and as a mid-layer. And that's the beauty of layering, I think, because now I can go ride like this if that's what I want, because I have the protection underneath. With this full all-in jacket, you have to take it on all the time. You may take away some insulated layers, but it fits only for that jacket and so on. Yeah, so this is sort of spring, summer, that what I bring along, because around the campfire and under the jacket and so on. But if it's even colder, I have the big change that I thought I would never do. But Thomas was talking so much about it and how much he loved it up in Bergen in Norway, where it's rainy and cold. And he told me to try one, and I did. So let me present the Mosko Ectotherm insulated jacket with 12 volts heated panels. Yeah, I told you, I'm cheating. It works as a normal puffy jacket and stylish enough to go into town with, but it feels like I have a set of keys in my pocket here, because I can take this out, and here's the cord. I plug it into my bike, there's a separate harness for that, and I click the heat button. And when I do that, I have 3 settings for the body, the upper arms, and around the neck will be heated. It has insulation on its own, it's getting quite warm now. But since it has the heated panels, I don't need any extra super puffy layers. Ready to go, 2024. I will do a full shitty weather review with the heated Mosko jacket and the Singletrack pants, and yeah, wait for the worst weather and go out and just hit it and tell you all about it. So the rest of the stuff pretty much the same. I will still have my Climb Krios Pro helmet. I had it for 3 years now, and it's getting a bit worn. And yeah, replace the panels inside here or get a new helmet, but it stays for 24. I do use the visor a lot on long trips because it's comfortable, but I also have these goggles that I bought the quick straps for, which I just add there, and then the Velcro there. So it's quite nice to just whoop, and they're off, but they're still connected, and I can just put them on. Because there's always a struggle with where to put the goggles. You have to take them off and stuff. So that's very convenient. And gloves, summertime, no problem. I use Enduro gloves, and if there's a lot of asphalt, I have the Knox gloves, which are protected. For winter, I have a pair of waterproof winter gloves, but they're not good. I'm always freezing. Even though I have heated grips, I always get the pinky or something just freezing. So I will, see if I can find a solution to that. Perhaps you have something you can give hints about in the comments. Oh yeah, I changed my backpack. I got the High Desert Wildcat, so cool names, from Mosko. Brand new, just packed it up. It has a lot of features, like this is not a full review, but the beaver tail thing here, and a lot of small pockets. You can open it up to expand the capabilities. It's a 3-liter water bladder in there. I like this new color. They call it High Desert. I call it American Mustard. And it has another cool feature, actually. We have this chest rig with a lot of stuff, because what I don't like about backpacks is when you're traveling through borders, and I don't use a tank bag if I don't really have to. Where do I have the documents? And this is the solution to that, I think, with the passport, registration, tickets, and mobile phone and stuff. And it connects here. Hang on. So now I have the chest rig, and I can have my mobile phone in there. So now I have the chest rig, and I can have my mobile phone in there. and yeah, documents, and it opens up like a tray like this, and I can have a look through and get my stuff. On a hot day, I guess this will prevent some airflow, but let's try it out. Yeah. And that's all the gear I had to show. So what's left of this video, if you care to stay, is just a few sneak peek of what's coming. So what's more, in 24, I'm trying out the Reckless 40 in these colors, of course. They will go on my T7. The 40, because I don't want to, I'd rather make my luggage slimmer and lighter than to buy more bigger luggage. But yeah, looking forward to try that. If you notice something missing on my bike, it's the ECU. It's now in Czechia at the Throttle Punks guys that we met in Prague. Really cool guys. They are remapping my ECU, and I will try the new filter system that they've made that is really innovative.